Larry tried to kill me.
Yeah. I was so thoroughly disgusted.
I mean, think about it. Why does it make you special to do what you do?
Packers jumping around. They rush four. Plenty of time for John. Now squeezes, steps up in the pocket. Elliott can run inside the 10. Head first. He 5-yard line. My goodness.
Rushing forward, ball comes out of the hands of Newton. It's on the ground, and it's still on the ground. Picked up by T.J. Ward at the 4-yard line.
Rawson, Ryan Clady, and Bob Miller. Goes along 3. Going deep. Oh, and he's got Thomas. Goodbye. Touchdown.
Here we go. First snap of the overtime. The Broncos have been in 3 overtime games this year. They won them all. Got him at the 40. It's Thomas at the 50. Stiff arm got him 3 to the 30. To the 20. Thomas to the 10. Denver's going on to New England. They win it on the first play of overtime.
Hello, Bronco fans and football fans everywhere. Welcome to Broncos Breakdown on the MHRT Network. This is a show that is everything Broncos and brought to you with emotion, passion, truth, and of course, my comments. I am your host, Bronco Bill. All right, guys. Bubba, nice to have you in the house. As always, glad to see you. Hello back at you. Not sure, first off, I want to say, happy President's Weekend. Some people have a Friday off, which is today, obviously. Some people have Monday off. Some people have both days off. So hopefully one way or the other, you guys are celebrating at least a extended weekend. Okay. I cannot get enough of that intro. I really can't, especially the Demaryius Thomas, the late Demaryius Thomas. It's just, it's just unbelievable to know that he's gone and to watch those video clips. The touchdown against the Raiders was spectacular. Great throw by Peyton Manning. And then, of course, the overtime against the Steelers when nobody gave the Broncos a chance to win that game. And Tim Tebow, one of my favorite quarterbacks by just to let you guys know, one of my favorite quarterbacks, Tim Tebow. Just loved the guy. Loved his energy. Loved his passion. Loved his fourth quarters. I mean, it was just exciting. But that overtime, first play of overtime against Pittsburgh, amazing. Amazing. All right, guys, got to get into 2 sad notes. One of them, a former Denver Bronco, and another one just a whoa, wait a minute. Before I get in, Bubba, what in heaven's name are you saying? I heard Jerry Jeudy's on his way to Cleveland? Oh, come on, dude. You have got to be wrong. Please, Bubba. Oh, Bubba, please be wrong. I do not want Jerry Jeudy gone. Where in heaven's name did you find that? Because I'll tell you what, I would have dug that up like nobody's business. That is crazy. Oh, I hope it's wrong. Oh, my gosh, I hope it's wrong. I'll get into whole some of the Sean Payton things and whatnot, but I'm just really uneasy about what he said. Before I get into my topics, I want to flash back to what I said last week. I'm a little bit uneasy of what Sean Payton said, and this is basically what he said in a nutshell, and that is this Broncos team is not for everybody. That scares me. That scares me big time Because basically what he's saying is nobody on this Broncos team is safe. Nobody. Unless you're in a contract and you can't get out of it, or it's too costly to, the Broncos cap or whatever, or dead money. But that bothers me. That bothers me greatly, because it sounds to me like, and I understand where he's coming from. All right, let me backtrack. I understand where he's coming from. Basically, what he's saying is, look, you guys want to be here, then we're going to work hard, and that's what we're going to have to do. We're going to have to work hard. We're not taking days off. We're not taking preseason off. Hello, last year. We're not doing that. You want to be on this team, you're going to work your tail end off, because the ultimate goal is the Super Bowl, which just happened last week. So if we want to be in it, we mean the Broncos, and I say we because I'm a huge Bronco fan, so I say we. If we want to be in the Super Bowl next year, then everybody on this team has to work as a well-oiled machine, like spokes in a wheel, together. They have to. That didn't happen. It hasn't happened in the last 6 years. I understand where Peyton's coming from, but holy smokes, Bubba, I hope you're wrong. Absolutely hope you're wrong. In case you guys don't know what I'm talking about, that are out there not in the chat, Bubba put up, I heard that Jerry Jeudy is on his way to Cleveland. Man, I absolutely do not want that to happen. Do not want that to happen. I'll take any other receiver. Well, maybe not any other one to leave, but I don't want any Bronco players to leave. Wow, Bubba, you just put a dagger in my heart, man, to start out the show. That I did not see that coming at all. D-Rock, back at you, man. Big D-Rock. Glad to have you in the house, man. That's awesome. Good, Bubba. I hope that's all it is it's a rumor. That's all. I hope that's all it is. Okay, let's get into the first topic. All right. Like I said, a couple of sad notes, but I want to get them out of the way so I can get into some other news. Former Broncos defensive coordinator Larry Coyer has passed away this past week. He was a blitz-happy defensive coordinator in 2005, and he took the NFL by surprise when the Denver Broncos hosted the AFC Championship game. That was with Jake Plummer. I remember that game. That was amazing until we lost to Pittsburgh. That hurt. I thought for sure we were going to the Super Bowl with Jake Plummer. That was an amazing year. That defense under Larry Coyer was absolutely blindsided. They blindsided teams because they had no idea about the kind of blitzing scheme that Larry Coyer had. He's such a great defensive coordinator. Absolutely loved watching him. He was absolutely, to me, he was one of the best, if not the best, defensive coordinator to innovate a system and a scheme that the other teams, the opposing teams, had no answer for. Absolutely no answer for. And it was the Broncos defense, like most of the time when we get to the Super Bowl, it's the defense. It was a defense that got the Broncos to the AFC Championship game that year. It was hosted in Denver by the Broncos, but the Steelers stole the show. Sad, yes, but an amazing, amazing career that Larry Coyer had. I continue. Mike Kliss of 9 News Denver says, Coyer was a true gentleman, and my thoughts are with his loved ones, end quote. Absolutely. Absolutely. Larry Coyer, you were instrumental. You were way above your years. In other words, I don't mean age-wise, but I mean knowledge-wise. Way above what the NFL was doing at the time. And for him to scheme up a defense with multiple blitz packages that the offense of the other team had no idea what was coming was spectacular to watch. If you guys can ever go back and on YouTube and just put in 2005 Denver Broncos highlights, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. Larry Coyer was great as a Denver Broncos defensive coordinator. Larry, you're going to be missed. His age at his passing wasn't given. Neither was his condition as to why he passed away. But Larry, may you rest in peace. And Denver Broncos and this guy will miss you. Larry, rest in peace. All right. We go to a former football player. Back in the 70s, some of you may not know who this is, but very, very instrumental in the way the offensive line performed when he was in there. Former Cardinals guard Conrad Dobler passed away last Monday at the age of 72. Dobler was known as one of the toughest NFL players of the 70s. In his 10-year career, are you ready for this? He's an offensive guard, where you're getting pounded every single play because you're trying to hold back the defensive rusher. In his 10-year career, he started 125 games out of 129 that he played in. That is remarkable. That is absolutely remarkable, because you got to remember, back in the 70s, well, some of you may not remember, but in any case, I'm going to let you know what happened. In the 70s, it wasn't like today. They didn't put skirts on these guys. They didn't put little flags on their hips and say, you can't hit them, or you can't do this, or you can't do that. No, back in the day, oh my gosh, they were ruthless. They were rugged. They were mean. They were nasty. They played to basically take you out of the game. I mean, they tried to, I'm not going to say injure, although this probably was on their tables at some point in time, but they wanted to dominate. And to have an offensive guard in Conrad Dobler to be that tough for 125 out of 129 games that he played in is absolutely amazing. Now, you have to remember one other thing too, guys. Back then, there wasn't 16 games or 17 games. There were 14. And early on, there was only 12. So to play in 125, and yes, I know it's less games than there are now, so your body doesn't take that big of a beating. I get that. But still, you can only play what your schedule has. You can only play what the league says the games are. So for him to play 125 out of 129 games started is remarkable. I think he should be in the Hall of Fame. I absolutely think he should be in the Hall of Fame. And if he's not, or if he is, I'm sorry, if he is, and then I'm mistaken. But if he's not, he should be. Because Conrad Dobler was one of the original hard-nosed, hard-playing offensive player for the Cardinals. Of course, back then it was St. Louis Cardinals. But still, what an amazing talent, an amazing career. Conrad, you're going to be missed. You are a great, great player for the NFL. All right. Let's get to a little bit of Sean Payton. Before I do, Ray's in the house. Hey, Ray, man. Hey, hi, Broncos country. We're back at you. Glad to have you in the house. Glad for you to be watching, listening, chime in, do whatever you say, whatever you want. You know, I'll comment like I always do. Okay. Super Bowl pregame comments by Sean Payton. All right. Yeah. Okay. Before I get to that, one more comment on Conrad Dobler. Yeah. Conrad is just straight up mean and nasty. Oh, he was mean and he was nasty, but he played hard. And you've got to, again, like I said, back in the day, they didn't put skirts on the players. They didn't put flags on their hips. They let them play the way football or rugby, if you want to even go a little bit further. I know NFL is at rugby, but back then it was pretty close to it. They just plain mean and nasty, just like the old nickname, Mean Joe Green. So there you go. That tells you how it was back in the 70s. All right. Super Bowl pregame comments by Sean Payton. I really like the way he approached this and the way he brought this. Sean Payton was asked why he wanted to get back into coaching. Now, this was asked on the pregame show before the Super Bowl. Okay. He said, and I quote, "The number one reason is for this, the Super Bowl. This is the Shangri-La. You get addicted to it once you've been there. Once you've won a championship, you can't get enough of it. So it's building a team and getting ready to start something special." End quote. There you go. Is he all in on the Denver Broncos? In my opinion, absolutely. Of course he is. Or he wouldn't have taken that sweet, cushy job he only had to do once a day. Now he's got to do it 7 days a week, pretty much. Think about it. You got the games on Sunday. Then you have game film breakdown on Monday. And then you have maybe Tuesday off for the players, but not so much for the coaches. Then you have Wednesday practice, Thursday game plan. And if you have a Thursday night game, well, then you got to do all that stuff compressed into less days. But if you're playing Sunday, then you've got, Thursday game plan, you got Friday walkthrough, you got Saturday travel, Sunday game. It's a 7-day-a-week job. Why did he leave that cushy job on Fox? For the very reason he stated. Because you get addicted to winning. You get addicted to being in the Super Bowl. He's won a Super Bowl championship with the New Orleans Saints and Drew Brees against the Indianapolis Colts. So for him to come back after a year out, he realized, or his wife realized, that he needed to get back into coaching. So that's why. But why did he choose Denver, in my opinion? Like he said before, and I may have mentioned this last week on my show, and that is 3 things: ownership, general manager, and fan support. What do the Broncos have? They have an ownership with deep pockets. They have a general manager in George Payton, who wants to strive and do the best for the Denver Broncos. And then you have Broncos country, who is absolutely fanatic about this team. Absolutely, no doubt, to sell out. And I know that there was some empty seats last season, but those seats were sold anyways. They just didn't show up because, in my opinion, they're stupid. You pay the money, show up to the doggone game, okay? Support the team. You don't turn your back on the team. Would you turn your back on your child if they didn't do exactly what you wanted them to do? No, you would encourage them. You do what you could to turn them around. Well, I know as fans, we can't do that because we don't have the money and we're not an ownership, but we can show support. We can be there for them. We can show them that we care. Don't turn your back on the team when they're losing. What the heck is that about? You don't do that. Absolutely don't do that. Okay, I continue. All right. But that's why Sean Payton wanted to get back into coaching. And he chose the Broncos for those very 3 reasons. He's not going to want to go to a team that has no fan support, like the Chargers. You're not going to do that. Why would you do that? You're not. He comes to Denver, and he is going to turn this team around. Absolutely going to turn this team around. And as it gets closer and closer to preseason and all that, I'll give you my thoughts and whatnot on what I think the Broncos are going to do in their record. Because I have total confidence in Sean Payton. I didn't like it at the beginning when we hired him because I had mixed emotions about how he left New Orleans and if he would do that in Denver. But after him saying what he said, I don't feel that way anymore. I really don't. I'm all in, man. I'm jumping in with both feet, both arms. I'm doing a cannonball. I'm going into that proverbial orange and blue Kool-Aid, and I'm taking it all in until proven different. And I hope that doesn't happen. Of course, I hope that doesn't happen. All right. Let's see. Okay, wait a minute. I'm going to get into this story. I've been convinced Rex is the guy for defensive coordinator. We should get him. I'll get into that. I got that segment. Hold on. I got that segment. I'm getting to it. So bear with me, and I'll definitely give you my points. And you guys chime in when that comes up, because I'll definitely, we'll definitely go back and forth with feedback. It'll be great. Okay. Let's see. What's this say? We are all Bill straight fanatic. Denver, but yeah, you're right, D-Rock. We're all straight fanatics, and that's the way it should be as Bronco fans. You don't turn your back. You just don't, and that bothers me when people don't show up. You're going to spend all this hard-earned money that you worked, maybe extra hours, or you cut out on this and that, and then you buy season tickets, or you buy you buy a ticket to go to the game, and then you don't show up. I guess some people like to just take their money and go and just burn it, because that's exactly what you're doing. And you're not doing them any favor, because you already gave them your money, but now you're not giving them your support. I can't back that. I'm sorry. All right. Broncos wide receiver coach Zach Azzanni has had an interview with the New York Jets after meeting with the Buffalo Bills last Monday. Tom Pelissero confirms this is true. Are we getting coaches to defect, or is it something more deeper than that? Are they getting word that, hey, Sean Payton's going to just clean house and start over with everybody new? I'm not quite sure I'd like that. I mean, I understand head coaches, and we've gone through this for the last 4 head coaches we've had. They're going to hire their own people. The problem I have with that is this. If somebody is doing a good job, a great job, why would you get rid of them or allow them to go and bring in your own people that now have to work with the new wide receivers, or now have to work with the new quarterback as a quarterback coach, or now has to be a new offensive coordinator or defensive coordinator? Why are we doing this? Why are we constantly turning over the proverbial shell, whatever it is? Why are we doing this? Why are we constantly getting turnover after turnover after turnover? I don't like it. And there's more of these. I've got several to bring to you, and none of them are things that I like. I don't like them. Absolutely do not like them one bit. Listen to what Zach Azzanni is, a wide receiver coach. Don't you think our wide receivers did pretty well the last 5 years? I do, given the revolving door of quarterbacks and the revolving door of head coaches. Why wouldn't we keep a Zach Azzanni? I don't get this. I absolutely don't get it. And it goes back to what I said earlier. I don't like the fact of what Sean Payton said in his presser. And I mentioned this last week on my show and again earlier on in the show. This Broncos team, and I'm quoting Sean Payton, and I quote, "This Broncos team is not for everybody," end quote. What the hell does that mean? Does that mean that he can get rid of anybody and everybody? Of course he can. He's a head coach, but he has to go through some channels, I would imagine. But still, I'm not liking this because of the fact that now we're getting defections. Why would Zach Azzanni want to go to the Jets? I understand why he want to go to the Bills. Yeah. Why would he want to go to the Jets? Why wouldn't he just stay with Denver unless he's had enough? I don't know. I don't understand. I don't get it. Let me continue. Azzanni could still return on Payton's staff if Payton so chooses. Azzanni has done a great job the past 5 seasons with a productive wide receiver group, end quote. I agree. Absolutely agree. I mean, the wide receivers have had a tough time. I mean, there's been injuries. There's been head coaching changes. There's been quarterback changes. So, yeah, but the wide receivers have been somewhat consistent. Sure, they've dropped passes. I mean, that's going to happen from time to time. But we saw the last 2 games, and I'll get into a little bit of that too down the road. But the last 2 games, the wide receivers were wide open, getting wide. Jerry Jeudy was instrumental on the end, one-on-one. That all has to do with Azzanni. I hope he sticks around. I hope he comes back. Absolutely hope he comes back. I don't want to see him gone. I don't want to see anybody wearing orange or blue with Bronco colors and a Bronco logo gone. I don't, because that's my team. Now, I wanted Hackett gone, but to me, he was never really orange and blue. Anyways, all right. D-Rock, I did hear about this. He says, Bill, there's strong whispers or murmurs on Bowles being traded. I have heard that. I'm not liking that either. Although Garrett Bowles, he's had so many ups and downs and so many, holding calls and just, he'll get it together one game and then screw it up another game, or get it together for 2 or 3 and screw it up for another 2 or 3. I don't know. He's inconsistent. I don't trust him on any given Sunday to be that kind of guy on the end. I just don't. I like him. I think he tries hard. I just can't trust him. That's the bad thing. Yes, this is exactly what I'm talking about. I think in this case, when a bond is built and key people, coaches leave, it's a domino effect. Absolutely. It's a domino effect. And that's what bothers me. Absolutely bothers me. And I've got some key guys that I'm going to bring up that are leaving. And I don't like it. And I'm not sure it's because if they don't think they can get along with Sean Payton, or they don't like the directions it's going, or they don't like the key words he said that, again, quote, this Broncos team is not for everybody, end quote. Okay. Does that mean that everybody's looking over their shoulder going, oh, shoot, does that mean me? He's bringing in so-and-so. I don't know. That could be me. And then they get cold feet. Maybe they get an offer from somewhere else. Maybe they put their feelers out. I don't know. But I'm not quite sure I like this direction, because there's to me, I just don't like the fact that he's bringing in a lot of Saints coordinators and coaches, because I don't want to call this the Denver Saints, because in latter years under Sean Payton in New Orleans, they weren't doing too well. They weren't winning too many games. And I remember when there were paper bags over the fans' faces and heads. I don't want that in Denver. I don't want people not showing up. I don't want that at all. But I also don't necessarily want the New Orleans Saints coaches residing in Denver, and now we're called the Denver Saints. Of course, I'm being facetious, you know that. But coaching-wise, I'm not. And I'm not sure I like this. I hope I'm proven wrong. Absolutely, I hope I'm proven wrong. I'm just not liking the direction this team is going with this coaching staff. And I know that a lot of it can be attributed to Hackett and how he handled things and whatnot. But that doesn't mean that Azzanni is a bad coach. I want him to stay. I don't have control of that, but I have control over how I feel, and I'm just expressing how I feel. That's it. All right, let's move on. Another coach leaves Denver. What did I tell you guys? What did I tell you? Former offensive coordinator Justin Alton is officially leaving town, with Payton bringing in much. Oh, here it is. This is what I just said. With Payton bringing in much of his own staff, it was expected Alton would leave. I don't like this. And I'll tell you why. I'm going to get into this right now. Alton called the plays in the final 2 games, both producing more points and production than the previous 15. Absolutely. Denver scored 24 points against Kansas City and could have won that game. Denver scored 31 points against the Chargers and did win that game. And there were 7 touchdowns thrown combined in both of those games combined. 7 touchdowns. Okay? I mean, maybe not 7 thrown, but Russell Wilson ran for 2 against Kansas City. Okay, so he threw for 5. Okay. My point being is this. More touchdowns were scored in the final 2 games than the first 6 games under Hackett and him calling the plays. Why would I want Alton gone? Alton knows Russell Wilson. Why, oh, why is Sean Payton doing this? This part bothers me big time. And I'm just not liking it. I know I've mentioned this, and I know I can keep going till I'm blue in the face. Bronco blue in the face. But it just bothers me that we're just completely overhauling. I don't like it. Denver had a chance, like I said, Denver had a chance to get the Chiefs and beat the Chargers in the last game of the season. 24 points against Kansas City, 31 points against the Chargers, and then Sean Payton comes in and heads coach, and now it looks like we don't have Alton. I'm dumbfounded, guys. I'm absolutely dumbfounded as to why you would totally clean house. Now, maybe it's because he being Sean Payton, maybe it's because of ownership, maybe it's because of George Payton. I don't know. Maybe they just want to go in a completely new, different direction. I don't know. I just hope things go upwards and not continue to trend downwards. All right. Another Broncos coach leaves. Yeah, after Alton, here comes another one. And this one I really didn't think would leave. Per Mike Kliss, a source confirms former Broncos quarterback coach Clint Kubiak is joining the San Francisco 49ers offensive staff in some capacity. Wow. So, Clint Kubiak leaves, quarterback coach. Now who's going to be the quarterback coach to Russell Wilson? I mean, how many changes can this team have and these players have? So, Russell Wilson leaves Seattle last year, comes to Denver, new head coach, albeit horrible, but new head coach, new quarterback coach, new offensive coordinator, new players, new receivers, new everything, new playbook. And now he's got to get another head coach, another offensive coordinator, another quarterback's coach. What the heck? This is mind-boggling to me. Absolutely mind-boggling. Why, oh, why is Sean Payton just blowing this thing up? I mean, seriously. I mean, it's hard for me, guys, to be speechless, but I'm very, very close to that when it comes to this. I absolutely don't get it. I absolutely don't get it one bit. Sean Payton hasn't coached in the NFL for a year, and I know it's only 1 year, but a year is a year, and he could be rusty, and he could have some hiccups, so to speak. Why would you not rely on somebody that's already familiar with Russell Wilson, already familiar with, how he plays? Like I said, I'm speechless. All right, I continue. Let's see. Okay, Gary, Clint's dad, worked under Mike Shanahan, and now Clint Kubiak will be working under Mike's son, Kyle Shanahan. There you go. Back to family reunion, so to speak. Think about it. You had Mike Shanahan and Gary Kubiak. Now you have Kyle Shanahan and Clint Kubiak. Watch out. 49ers are going to be something special next year, especially if they keep that phenom quarterback. What's his name? Starts with a B. Not Boyd. Anyways, you guys know what I'm talking about. But they're gonna be something special, especially with Clint Kubiak. I'm not saying he's all world, but if he can take any kind of a page or 2-page or 3-page from his dad, there you go. Now you got Kyle Shanahan, who's probably taking or was taking, probably not now, but probably was taking some tips and whatnot from his dad, Mike Shanahan. So why in heaven's name wouldn't Clint Kubiak take it from his dad? I would. Sorry, guys. The phone's a house phone. My wife will get that. All right. Let's see. D-Rock makes a good point. Aren't a lot of the coaches Hackett's buddies? True, they are. But that being said, if they're doing a good job and Hackett's not around, that could be a point, though. You know, I just thought that's like what happened with who we just lose? We interviewed him. Anyways, but you're right. If they're his buddies and they want to feel loyal to Hackett, then they're probably going to leave and say, "Hey, I'm not going to stick around on the team." You know, my buddy, who hired me, Nathaniel Hackett, who hired me, now he's fired. Although he's on the Jets. He's on the Jets as the offensive coordinator. So there you go. I mean, he got a job really quick. It's just, I know what you're saying, D-Rock, and I appreciate what you're saying, and you're probably dead on. But it just bothers me that we keep turning over and turning over and turning over. It seems like it's been a revolving door at Dove Valley for the last 6 years, and certainly the last 3 years. And it's just very, very frustrating to me. That's all. Very, very frustrating. D-Rock, I absolutely agree. Right now, our strongest side of the sword is the defense. We cannot let it get dull or regress. I agree. Absolutely cannot let it get dull or regress. And that's my point. That's my point. And I would, like I mentioned, I will get into the defensive side of things. Let me continue. Eagles sign former Broncos wide receiver. Tyree Cleveland lands a futures contract with the NFC champion Philadelphia Eagles. Tyree Cleveland. I liked him. I really did like him. I know he's young and somewhat, NFL inexperienced. I know, but I liked him. I don't like I said, I don't like to see any Broncos player leave. I don't care if they were, top notch up here or down here on the practice squad. I don't want to see anybody. Melvin Gordon, but we'll get into that topic too. But, I don't. I like Tyree Cleveland. He did have issues. Yes, he fumbled on punts and kickoff returns. But I think that could be taught. And if he's going to sign a futures contract with the Eagles, then that means the Eagles saw something or see something in him that they feel they can figure out, they can change, they can make him into a better punt returner, kickoff returner, wide receiver, scat back, whatever that they have planned for him. And if they can see it, why couldn't Denver? Well, of course, we got all new coaches, all new everything again. So I guess he was expendable. Like I said, I just don't like it. I thought that his issues could be corrected. I thought he could learn them. He could develop into being a better punt returner, kickoff returner. But who else is going to leave? Who else? We're going to get rid of everybody now? I mean, it just seems to be the way it's going. And yeah, guys, I am frustrated and I am a little irritated because I just don't like the direction this is going. And I hope I'm wrong. I'm one of those kind of guys that when things happen, I deal with it right up front. And this is what's happening right now. So I'm doing it right up front. I'm not looking down the road going, well, okay, maybe it'll get better. Maybe this is all for a better scheme, a better attitude, a better direction. Great. I hope so. But I haven't seen it yet. All I'm seeing is people leaving and not too many guys coming to Denver. Unless you're from the Saints. Well, then there you go. You got a free in-house interview and a free job. Because that seems to be the way it's going. And I can't blame him for wanting to hire the people he's familiar with. But sometimes you got to hire the best people for the position, not the best people that you've known. I've worked many years with people that I really, really enjoyed working with. Absolutely enjoyed working with. But I wouldn't necessarily want them to, do any work at my house. No, maybe not. Maybe their attitude. I'm not sure. But I know that for a fact, I wouldn't want every single person I've worked with wanting to necessarily do things at my house. Just saying. I've hired a gardener. Never met him. Never knew him. My wife hired him. The guy has a company. He's great. Does phenomenal work. Never knew him before. So see, sometimes you got to go outside your boundaries. Go outside your comfort zone and hire somebody who's really good for the job. Not necessarily a buddy. Somebody who's the best fit for the job. Okay? Just saying. All right. Speaking of Saints and hirings, Declan Doyle. Who? I'll tell you. Declan Doyle, former Saints offensive assistant Declan Doyle is headed to the Broncos to be Denver's tight ends coach? An offensive assistant is going to be the Broncos' new tight ends coach. Wow. Has he ever had an experience as a tight ends coach? I don't know. Didn't say. Just says he's an offensive assistant for the Saints. Okay. Offensive assistant in what capacity? Doesn't say. But now he's the Broncos tight ends coach. From where? Yeah, the Saints. All right, I continue. According to Ian Rappaport, Doyle was with the Saints the past 4 seasons. So that means he was with the Saints when Sean Payton was still the head coach. Well, there's a connection because Sean Payton's only been away from coaching for a year. And it says that he's been with the Saints for the last 4. So there you go. Another Sean Payton crony. Now he's a tight ends coach. Who else are we getting? Huh? Are we going to adopt their little logo on the side of our helmet? Over here will be that little flower thing that the Saints have. And on this side will be the Broncos logo. I mean, come on. I know I'm being facetious, guys, and I'm being frustrated. Because I don't like this trend. Period. All right. I'll get off that soapbox. Let's continue. Getting into the defensive coordinator the Broncos are looking for. And who was it back here? I'm going to bring it back up just so I can give you some credit for saying it. Here it is. And it is, Ray says, I've been convinced Rex is the guy for the defensive coordinator. We should get him. Okay, here we go. Here it is, guys. Defensive coordinator repeat. Now, I don't mean repeat from the coordinators we've had before. I'm talking about repeating from either a former Broncos coach or a former NFL coach. Here it is. Denver has requested permission to interview Arizona's defensive coordinator, Vance Joseph, for their defensive coordinator position. Joseph was a former Broncos head coach in 2017 and 2018. Do we really want Vance Joseph back in Denver as our defensive coordinator? Do you guys want him as your defensive coordinator? I don't. I'm not sure I want any former Broncos head coach to be our defensive coordinator. I'm not sure that they would really want to be in that position. Sure, it's a job in the NFL, but he's already on Arizona and he's already got interviews in other spots. I'm not sure that I want a Vance Joseph back as a Broncos defensive coordinator. Main reason is because he was our head coach and that didn't work out. Sure, he could be a really good defensive coordinator. But sometimes, in my opinion, if I look at it as a job I would have, let's say I'm in management position and all of a sudden I get fired from that or whatever, push back, whatever the situation is. And I come back as a coordinator. Do I want to be a facilities coordinator with house management? No. I'm going to look at management probably and say, hey, I wouldn't do it that way. I would do it this way. Or I've got this input or that input. I just don't think and feel it works. Some people maybe have a different attitude. Maybe Vance Joseph would be okay with it. I just don't know, because he used to be a Broncos head coach and now he wants to be, and he's being interviewed for the defensive coordinator. I just don't think that would be a good fit. I really don't. All right, Madungus, you open up a can of worms now. Vance Joseph would be a great defense coordinator for Broncos. I would rather have Joseph over Ryan. I would agree with that. I'm just not sure I want either one. And what? Okay, Madungus, let me ask you this. Why do you think and feel that Vance Joseph would be a great defensive coordinator? Name me one good reason why. Okay? Because if he was anywhere in charge of the defensive play calling when he was head coach, it didn't work, in my opinion. Didn't work very well at all. Okay. Hey, I want to welcome somebody new in the house, Diego. Maybe he just loves the Broncos. True. Could be. Very, very well could be. Welcome, Diego, in the house. Nice to have you. Thanks for chiming in. All right. On the flip side of the Vance Joseph, on the flip side of Vance Joseph's possible defensive coordinator position, Rex Ryan. According to Ian Rappaport, Rex Ryan has emerged as the top candidate for the Broncos defensive coordinator job. Ryan hasn't coached in the NFL since 2016 with the Buffalo Bills at the time. Now, we're talking 7 years ago, guys. 7 years that Rex Ryan's been out of the game. The game has passed him by, in my opinion. Things have changed drastically. Could he get it back? Yeah, you know the old saying, it's like riding a bike. You just get back on and go. Well, not so much. Not so much when you're talking the changing of the way the game's played and how, the defenders can't get away with this, and they can't allow to hit anybody past 5 yards, and pass interference and holding calls are being called more and more. I think the game has passed Rex Ryan by. Do I really want a Rex Ryan, a former head coach, again as a coordinator? No, absolutely not. I don't even, this is just my opinion, guys. Just my opinion. I'm not a big fan of Rex Ryan. I'm really not. I don't like his attitude. I don't like the way he comes across. I really don't like him all that much. And I'm sorry, guys, but it's true. I don't want Rex Ryan as our defensive coordinator. And I really, for that matter, don't want Vance Joseph. You know who I really want? Wade Phillips. Now, of course, he's not going to come out of retirement and whatnot, but that's really the only guy I would want as a former head coach. I know, guys. Go ahead and say it. Yes, Wade Phillips was a former head coach of the Broncos, but it doesn't matter. He was a phenomenal, phenomenal defensive coordinator. I would absolutely do cartwheels, which I can't do at age 64, but I would try and do cartwheels if Wade Phillips would come back. Not going to happen. So I guess we got to take the lesser of the two evils, and that would be Vance Joseph. I really wish we would have gotten the guys targeted that we could have had that were out there. We just didn't get them, and now they're going elsewhere. Why couldn't we have gone after the defensive coordinator for the Philadelphia Eagles? That didn't happen, obviously. Or the defensive coordinator for the Chiefs. I don't think he was available. But, I mean, these other prominent, high-profile defensive coordinators, I don't want to go back to a retread. I don't want to open that proverbial Pandora's box. I don't. And especially with Rex Ryan, who knows? He may be on the sidelines and take off a shoe and start, playing with his feet or something. He's got that foot fetish. So I know I'm being facetious and whatnot, but it's true. He does. I don't want either one. If I have to take one of the two, I would then take Vance Joseph, but it's still a very, very hard pill to swallow. Very hard pill to swallow. Let's see. Hey, my nephew, what's up, Robert? Hey, nice to see you in the house, man. He says, I can see Peyton and Ryan fighting mid-seasons over control and ego. I can too. Absolutely, I can. I mean, I know who would win the battle ultimately because he's a head coach, and that would be Sean Payton. But it would be ugly, and I don't want to see that. I'm just not a big Rex Ryan fan. I never have been. Never, ever have been at all. Let's see. Madunga says most head coaches block lateral moves. We wouldn't have been able to get a current defensive coordinator to be our defensive coordinator. True, but there are defensive coordinators that are moving laterally, and I'm not sure why they're not being blocked. Maybe those teams and the head coach doesn't want them anymore. But there are lateral moves. You're just probably not going to get a really good lateral move. But I understand that. But I go back to Vance Joseph and Rex Ryan. I'm just not on board with that. And I'm not really sure who I'd want. I just know I don't want those two. They're former head coaches, one of them with the Broncos, and one of them with a foot fetish. I don't want either. All right. Let's go to, and this one irritates me. Big time irritates me. Maybe on not a personal level because I don't know this person personally, but on a football personal level, being Broncos fan. Former Broncos running back who couldn't seem to keep his hands on the ball will soon be keeping his hands on a Super Bowl frickin' championship ring. Didn't do a dang thing for the Chiefs. When the Broncos let him go, Chiefs signed him to what? Practice squad. Whoopee. You know, I mean, I've had people say to me, well, maybe he was instrumental in the practice squad to kind of, help the Chiefs against the Eagles or the other teams in the playoffs. How much? How much information could he give them? Hang on to the ball because I can't? Don't give me the ball. Don't let me play on your team if you want to win a Super Bowl. Just keep me on the practice squad. Then I can get a Super Bowl ring and not do a dang thing. Melvin, golly, what a disgrace to me. Absolutely. I can't stand this with every fabric of my being. He didn't do a dang thing to earn that Super Bowl championship ring. Not a single thing. And yet you got guys who've worked their tail end off, who get hurt, who can't play, who want to play. They get a Super Bowl ring, which I commend them for because they had blood, sweat, and tears. Not Melvin Gordon. He just happened to be at the right place at the right time, unfortunately. To me, makes me want to throw up because he didn't earn it. He didn't do a dang. The only thing he earned was a ticket out of Denver and a ticket into Kansas City. That's all he earned. And he gets a freaking Super Bowl ring. Wow. My goodness. Unbelievable. Unfreaking believable. I wanted the Eagles to win for that very reason, and also because the Chiefs are in our division. I didn't want them to win a Super Bowl again. But, that's what happens. And it just irritates me to no end to know that he didn't do a dang thing to even earn his name on a ring, let alone get one. Life must be good, man. Life must be freaking really good. Just bugs me to no end. Thanks, Diego. I appreciate that. Absolutely appreciate it. It's just so frustrating. I just can't stand the stomach that he's got a Super Bowl ring and other people that deserve it a lot more don't. And I'm not talking about, circumstances happen. You go to the Super Bowl, you lose. I understand that. But man, there's a lot of other great, amazing players that have never won a Super Bowl. And this one bugs me no end. All right. Let's see. Yes, that is true. Robert, you are very true. Fangio signed a 2-week contract with Philly. He almost got a ring too. Yeah. Knowing what I know now that Melvin Gordon was going to get a ring if the Chiefs won. I kind of wish Fangio and the Eagles would have won. Well, I won the Eagles anyways. But you're right. I forgot about the fact he signed a 2-week contract to kind of help the defense of the Eagles win a Super Bowl, which came very, very close. Very, very close. I know there's a lot of people talking about the controversial holding call and all that. Well, the defender did say he held, and it was a call, but he also said most of the time the referees let it go. Should they have let it go? I don't know. That's debatable. If it's a penalty, it's a penalty. So I don't know. But anyways, it's true. And I like this one. Great, great comment, Robert. I'm surprised Gordon didn't fumble the Lombardi trophy. Yeah, no kidding. No kidding. Probably learned how to hang on to it with 2 hands, or somebody stuck super glue in his hand so he couldn't drop it. Yeah, good point. Because it does have a football on the top, so he could have fumbled it. So you're right. Okay. Let's go to Eric Bieniemy. Now, after winning Super Bowl 57, Eric Bieniemy is leaving the Chiefs as well as the AFC. Thank goodness. I only say thank goodness because he's coached. He's obviously been the offensive coordinator with Patrick Mahomes there. So is Patrick Mahomes and Eric Bieniemy a pair, a duo, or is Patrick Mahomes like another Tom Brady? And I'll get into that on my very last segment here. That is Patrick Mahomes like Tom Brady, where he can just go anywhere or have any offensive coordinator and be just as good? Because Tom Brady, when Josh McDaniels went to Denver as a head coach, Tom Brady had another offensive coordinator, did quite well. Also, when he went to Tampa Bay, goes to Tampa Bay, new offensive coordinator, new head coach, new system, bam, Super Bowl champion. So is it really Patrick Mahomes by himself and the coaching staff? Or is it Eric Bieniemy and Patrick Mahomes? We're going to find out come 2023 NFL season. I continue. Bieniemy is finalizing his deal to join the Washington Commanders. Why in heaven's name would you leave Kansas City, a predominantly powerhouse in the AFC, to go to the Washington Commanders? Well, one and main reason is Eric Bieniemy's contract was up after the Super Bowl. Were they going to offer him any money? Obviously not, or he probably wouldn't have left. So that tells me that they're moving on from Eric Bieniemy, and he's now in line to be the offensive coordinator for the Washington Commanders. The deal could be official by tomorrow, Saturday. So there you go. Eric Bieniemy is out of the AFC. Not officially, but very, very close to being official. Out of the AFC, out of the AFC West, and maybe Patrick Mahomes won't be the same. Well, yeah, right. Sure. There's only one Patrick Mahomes, and there's only one Tom Brady. And that leads me into my last segment. Okay, good point. Good point. I did not know this. Eric Bieniemy never called the offensive plays at Kansas City. That was Andy Reid. Okay. All right. If that's the case, what was Eric Bieniemy's job? Just to wear a headset and pretend that he's calling plays, or what was the deal? But yeah, if you're right, I do recall that, Robert, that I did hear that it was Andy Reid that was calling the plays. But it's still ironic that Eric Bieniemy would leave. Well, obviously, like it says, his contract's up. So, you're going to take what you can get. And obviously it's a downgrade to go to the Washington Commanders, but hey, it's still a job. All right. Now I go to my last segment, and this is a comparison, and it has nothing to do with the Denver Broncos, but I thought I'd bring this up because it's quite interesting. I want to get your guys' feedback. So feel free to chime in and give me your feedback on this. Patrick Mahomes versus Tom Brady. Everyone should agree, or most everyone, I should say, should agree that Tom Brady is the modern greatest of all-time quarterback. That said, could his 7 Super Bowl championships be in jeopardy? Let's break this down. All right. Let's break this down. Patrick Mahomes is 27 years old with 2 championships. Tom Brady is 45 years old with 7 championships. Given the mathematical scenario, Patrick Mahomes has 18 seasons to equal Brady's age at 45. He's 27 and 18 is 45. Okay? All the Chiefs would need to do is win just 6 more Super Bowls out of a possible 18 remaining Mahomes season should he play till he's 45. He doesn't need to play till he's 45. Mahomes has won 2 Super Bowls in the last 4 years. So basically all he needs to do is win 4 more, win 6 more in the next 12. Well, if he's 27, he can play till he's 39. I'm just saying, guys, I'm not trying to say that I'm advocating for the Chiefs to win 6 more Super Bowls. I'm not saying that. What I'm trying to do is compare modern football in Patrick Mahomes with modern Tom Brady of his era. And I say modern because it's obviously, Super Bowl era time. Tom Brady won 7 Super Bowls, 6 with the Patriots, 1 with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Patrick Mahomes, you realize, guys, Patrick Mahomes has a contract for the next 8 years with Kansas City and that coaching staff and that team. You saw they got rid of Hill last year. That didn't slow them down, did it? They got rid of a number of players. Didn't slow them down. Why? Because it's the same type of system in Kansas City that Tom Brady enjoyed in New England. Are they one and the same? No, they're different, but they're very similar in the fact that they get it done at the highest level. Absolutely. You can't deny that. And I don't want to deny it. I would like to. I would like to have Patrick Mahomes on the Broncos. Not going to happen. Maybe when he's 39, but it's not going to happen anytime soon. Point I'm trying to make is it possible that Tom Brady's record of 7 Super Bowl championships could be broken by Patrick Mahomes in the next possible 18 seasons? How about the next possible 12? I'm just saying, guys, what do you think? Do you think it is possible that Tom Brady's greatest of all time quarterback status, the GOAT, be eclipsed by a Patrick Mahomes in the next 8 to 10 years? Is it possible? My answer, absolutely it's possible, but it all hinges on 3 major factors. One, first and foremost, his health. Can Patrick Mahomes stay healthy for the next 8 to 10, 15 years? Is it possible? Second, is his team going to be the same type of team that he has now? Are they going to, have a major let up, a major retirement, a major overhaul of the offensive line or wide receivers or whatever? And third, is the coaching staff going to stay in place? Because if all 3 of those things stay together, it's going to be another, quote, hard to say because they're AFC West guys. I'm not advocating for the Chiefs to be the all world. I'm just doing a comparison. Okay. So don't shoot the messenger. Don't shoot the guy who's just trying to do a comparison. Okay. Is it possible for that Kansas City Chiefs to be that dominant and a dynasty like the Patriots were for all of those years? My answer, absolutely it's possible. Do I want it to happen? No, I don't want it to happen. Not because I like Tom Brady more than Patrick Mahomes. No, I don't like either one any more than I like the Bronco players because they're not wearing orange and blue. All I'm saying is it possible? My answer is yes, it is possible. Do I think it's going to happen? Nobody knows. Nobody knew that Tom Brady was going to get 7 Super Bowl championships. But I'm just saying the possibility is there because Patrick Mahomes has already won 2 in the last 4 seasons. It is possible for it to happen. It would be exciting for the NFL if that were to happen. But the other thing I don't want to see is I don't want to see the NFL NFL slanting their play calling and their game calling and that kind of thing to benefit the Kansas City Chiefs, because that would be a travesty. Absolutely a travesty. I want it to be done fair and square. It'll be interesting here in the next 8 to 10 years to see if that's possible. Hopefully not. Hopefully the Denver Broncos take over the division, take over the AFC, and take over Super Bowl championships. That's what I want to see. That's what I want to see. But I just thought that the comparison after the Chiefs won the Super Bowl, that comparison, I just thought was quite interesting, that it's a possibility that it could happen. He could tie it, he could break it, or neither one of it could happen. But if any quarterback out there has the capability of being the next generation GOAT, it is Patrick Mahomes. That's all I'm saying, guys. But on the heels of that, go Broncos. I don't want to see that happen. Just thought it was an interesting comparison. That's a great one, Robert. Hopefully Mahomes doesn't get divorced. Yeah, no kidding. Because went downhill for Tom Brady when that happened. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. Good. That's a great call. That's a great call. Also a great call on this, Robert. Mahomes is on the right trajectory. Absolutely. Sure he is. Think about it. If he can win 2 in the last 4 years, let's say if he wins 4 of the next 8, well, that gives him 6. He's right on the doorstep. Maybe he just needs to get traded to the Broncos so he can win another one. Just saying. I mean, Tom Brady left the Patriots and went to the Buccaneers. Why couldn't Mahomes leave Kansas City 8 years from now, come to Denver? Why not? I'll welcome him. I don't care if he's 45, 37, 40. I don't care. I'd welcome him. If he has that kind of talent, and he still has that kind of talent 8 years from now, oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, you betcha. Absolutely. Absolutely. No doubt about it. That's it, guys. That's all I have. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. If you haven't, please do so. I greatly appreciate it. Before I get out of here, I just want to acknowledge the fans that were in the chat. You got Bubba, you got D-Rock, you got Ray, you got Madungus, you have, where are they at? Madungus, I said that. Oh, you have Diego. Thank you so much, Diego. You got Robert Marino. Thank you so much, Robert. My nephew, appreciate it. Thanks so much for being in there, for chiming in, for all your comments and your support. Really appreciate every single one of you that watch, that subscribe, that chime in. That's what makes this show the best it can be, is the input that you guys put in there. Really, really appreciate it. Ray, thank you always so much for your comments. Really appreciate it. Good show. Good night, folks. That's same to you, Ray. And enjoy your weekend. Hopefully you got a good long weekend with the President's weekend. You guys, thanks again so much for all your support. Before I get out of here, let me remind you of the shows that are upcoming. This is Friday, so we have the neighborhood, the Avalanche neighborhood on Sunday. I believe that's a 4:00 game my time. I could be wrong, but anyway, stay tuned. Check out the schedule. That's on Sunday. It's going to be live, the neighborhood with Madungus Creevy and myself. That's the Avalanche neighborhood. And then on Monday, you have the Cluster Puck podcast. That goes live every 5, 6, 7, and 8. On Tuesday, you have the 5280 podcast. That goes live every 5, 6, 7, and 8. And that is followed by the whiskey show. What's it called? I can't remember the first part of it. No nonsense. No nonsense is whiskey. That goes live right after the 5280 show. So tune in for that. Great show. You guys will get all your sports. They cover everything. Then on Wednesday, you have the Wild Wild West that features a fan from every AFC West team: Broncos, Raiders, Chargers, and Chiefs. That goes live every 4:30, 5:30, 6:30, and 7:30. And then on Friday, this show once again, Broncos Breakdown, live 5, 6, 7, and 8, hosted by me, Bronco Bill. That's live, like I said, every Friday. Until then, guys, have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your weekend. Hopefully it's a long weekend for a lot of you guys, and you can just relax, enjoy yourself, and just have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. Till next Friday, I will see you then. Till then, guys, take care. Bye-bye.